Hello, everyone, and welcome to another session of Collectibles Ask Me Anything. Tonight in our studio, we have Neil Buckets from KIWI Arts Group and Toby O'Connor from Collectibles. There's a special, this is tonight's a special edition. We have our partner, Colico Tokens, who's going to be dropping a total of $200 worth of tokens to anyone who would drop their wallet address during the AMA and no later than the end of the AMA in the comment section. Okay, so if you want to win a part of the $200 US worth of tokens, drop your wallet address in the comment section during the AMA. All right, and tonight we have a discussion in relation to one of William John Kennedy's photograph. And tonight we're going to be talking about the Andy Warhol acetate, as you can see in the background behind Neil Buckets. There's also a POAP that is available for minting. And the password, the secret password for the minting will be given at the end of the AMA. So stay tuned to the end for the secret password to mint your very exclusive copy of the Marilyn Acetate photo. I'll let Neil and Toby take the session away and talk about this very special piece of photograph by William John Kennedy. All yours, guys.
Thanks very much, Kevin. It's a pleasure to be on, and a pleasure again to be with Neil. And I've had the privilege of spending a little bit of time with Neil in his art studio, and you can see some wonderful photographs behind him, which we'll comment on, and you can find those on our site for collectibles.art. But this was a really fun project that I've enjoyed being part of, and really what I've enjoyed in particular is that we all know who Andy Warhol is, and we've seen a lot of wonderful pictures of, including of Marilyn. But what I didn't appreciate, and hope to bring out a little bit today is just some of the background of these wonderful photographs that William John Kennedy has taken in the early years, and how those came to be identified by Neil and his colleagues, and really the journey that they've been on in terms of bringing Kennedy's photographs to a wider audience and beyond. And I think that's been really fun. And I think as we talk a little bit about the photographs and how they were taken, the circumstances, they really are quite special. So, Neil, thank you for joining me again. I think the story of how you came across William John Kennedy and how that's built momentum over the last several years is really interesting for people to understand.
Right. Yes. And welcome, everyone. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Toby. I'm here in London in my art flat, surrounded by these fabulous images of William John Kennedy. And I think it is even more apt to talk about one of the key images, which is the image of Andy Warhol looking through the original acetate of Marilyn Monroe in the factory, which was taken in 1964. And why this is so apt is that on I believe it's Monday the 9th, Christie's in New York is going to be auctioning off in their Christie's auction, which is from the private collection of Thomas and Doris Amann, two prolific Andy Warhol collectors, brother and sister. And the last lot, which I think is 36A, is the shot sage blue Marilyn. And this is a 40 by 40 image. And they do predict that it's going to go for a minimum of 20 million, maybe 25, maybe 30 million. No one knows. But, it is poised to become the most expensive piece of 20th century art ever auctioned off, which is really, really exciting. And this is why I hope the audience today will enjoy my story, because William John Kennedy, who took this photograph, which is sitting behind me in 1964, was able to capture this image, before Warhol had even started his creating the silk screens. So this was taken in early 64. And can you imagine, in less than 6 months later, he was producing these silk screens from this acetate. And that's one of the images is going to be sold in Christie's for over £20 million or dollars, which is quite incredible. And the incredible story, these images were nearly lost. The original negatives were kept in a shoebox above him and his wife's bed for over 40 years. And it was only because this image was bastardized by an unknown photographer who happened to take a photograph of this photograph when it was only exhibited once in 1967 in a New York gallery exhibition by Sidney Janis, who did a exhibition homage to Marilyn Monroe. And that was the only time this photograph was ever exhibited. So someone had taken a photograph of the photograph. This photograph had been used in a coffee table book by Andy Warhol's family and foundation. And only when it was produced, the photographer, William John Kennedy, recognized his photo, knew that it was his, remembered he had all these fantastic photographs from taken in the factory in 1964, found the box with all the negatives in, and approached us at KIWI Arts Group. We are the publishers, and he came to us, and we realized the importance of these images. And we took on board these images. We created a film to prove that William John Kennedy had taken these photographs. While we were making the film, the Andy Warhol Museum got to hear about it, and they realized the importance of these images. And in fact, as an anecdote, this image of Warhol and Marilyn, the Andy Warhol have got in the lobby in their museum in Pittsburgh, and it's a wall-to-wall canvas, 40 foot high, of this Warhol and Marilyn image. And they are saying that it's the most important image they have in the museum, which is quite incredible. And once the Andy Warhol Museum got to hear about it, and the importance of the collection, became more serious and more important, KIWI Arts Group are now in the process of bringing out a book, which is going to be published by ACC Publishing, which is an art book. And this is coming out in September, and the world will see the full collection of William John Kennedy's images. So that is the background to how we got involved in this collection. And what is so exciting for us is that Christie's approached us just recently, and they asked us about this image about Warhol looking through the acetate. And they have written a long essay, which is in the online auction catalogue, which is promoting the auction on the 9th of May, which tells the story of the significance of this image. Because obviously, this image is the only record showing the original acetate, which obviously preceded all the silk screens that Andy Warhol had created from the original acetate. So if you can imagine, here Andy Warhol is looking through the acetate before he was famous, just looking through it, having a bit of fun. And William John Kennedy caught the first time the world had seen the Marilyn Acetate, which has now become one of the most famous images in the world. And he happened to catch the image of Andy Warhol looking straight above her face, as if to say, you know what, this could be big. We don't know, but this could be big. And the photographer realized that. And just as the photographer took that photograph in the factory, standing by the factory window, there was a diagonal shard of light which came straight through the window. I don't know if you can see that in the picture. And the photographer managed to catch that moment, as if to say, something special is going to happen here. Mm. And now if we go back to what's going to happen on Monday, and when you think that this original acetate was used almost to trace and produce this series of silk screens, coloured silk screens, of which one of them is the shot sage blue Marilyn. So there you go. You've got here a special moment in time captured by William John Kennedy, and the result of this, what is going to be seen next week in Christie's. So I hope that gives a great indication of the importance of this image.
I just got a question here, Neil. Why do you think, right, the painting for Andy Warhols are so valuable? You know, I know how William John Kennedy has captured this photo, and they have a good friendship, and especially the Marilyn one, and even the one with the flowers. But why are Warhol paintings so valuable?
I mean, it's a good question. I think the world was ready in the early 60s, you know, for the pop art revolution. And here William John Kennedy was, without realizing it, he was there. He was there when Andy Warhol and Robert Indiana were just starting to produce their pop art, which was going to capture the imagination of the world. The world was ready in the 60s, you know, for something different. You know, art had become quite staid, and everyone was just ready for something different. And Andy Warhol, just like the photographer, was in the right place and at the right time. Mm. And they were innovating. They were using innovative techniques to produce their art. So it wasn't the old-fashioned oil painting or watercolors. They were experimenting with these acetates, silk screening, taking pop art to a new level. I just think the world was ready for it, and that's why I think it's caught everyone's imagination.
Yeah, it's all about timing, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's all about timing. Yeah, Toby, what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's wonderful to have this auction coming up, and obviously we're all excited to see how that progresses. I think the Marilyn picture is iconic, but I think, as Neil said there, this is really unusual to be able to see the original acetates that the silk screenings were based off that may not even be around anymore, right? And to have this image by this photographer, William John Kennedy, is just amazing. And I think what Neil and his colleagues have done is really bring this to everyone's attention. So while the Warhols are famous and very valuable and the rest of it, I think the background of how these have come to light, the film Full Circle before they were famous, Neil's put together, really provides an amazing backdrop of understanding in terms of the answer to that question of why these Warhols are really important. And I think one of the things that Kennedy was able to do, and you can see it really in all three of these pictures behind Neil, particularly in the acetate, is make the artist comfortable in a way that these pictures are so intimate, where you can see the face coming through the Marilyn of Andy, and then you can see the light coming through the back. And I think this is very special. And what we've got here are signed limited edition photographs, of which there are. This one is available, but very few, a small number. This one is signed by William John Kennedy, now deceased. Neil spent time with the photographer before he passed away. But these are signed photographs, and with the Fusion DOT, you get, as well as the legal documentation addressing the title of ownership and the rights of the owner, very clearly laid out. You also get a description from Kennedy, which you can see on the Metamall site, of how that picture was taken. And it's not, you just have to have a certain presence, a certain relationship with the artist to be able to do that. And as you explore our site and explore the pictures and explore what's on the site, the DOT provides that rights of ownership. It provides the description. It has access to some really high quality, high resolution photographs, and we hope people will enjoy that. It'll create the provenance on the blockchain. It's immutable. It'll be there. And of course, with the rights of ownership come the rights to enjoy that picture physically that's sitting behind Neil in the picture there. So no, we're really excited about the project. We're excited about what Christie's are doing. And we're excited about the celebration of Kennedy's work over this year, which is, again, these pieces, the film Full Circle, and then also this book that Neil mentioned that will be coming out later in the year.
Yes, and just to clarify, Toby, the physical items, they're limited to 60 images. This Marilyn and Warhol, which the image itself is a 40 by 30 silver guillotine handmade image. There's less than a handful left physically in the world, and I think now this image is going to be exposed and written about by Christie's and will have worldwide exposure. It would obviously increase its value and its importance in the marketplace, and it just shows again more about William John Kennedy. And this is what the Andy Warhol Museum liked with all three of the images, is his collaborative approach. So he was actually collaborating with Andy Warhol on all three of these images. I mean, he was aware all these acetates were just rolled up on the floor of the factory, and he enticed Andy Warhol to open them. He said, what have you been doing today? And Andy Warhol really was quite shy. He was quite reticent to unveil it. And the photographer was saying, just having a bit of fun. He said, oh, come on, Andy, show me. And he saw his hands going towards these rolls of acetate, and he was kept on enticing him, and he knew something was going to come without knowing what he was going to reveal, but he was ready for it. And I think that's the exciting part of these images, because what you're seeing now is the result of this friendship and this teasing and this collaborative approach, which resulted in this sort of money shot image, which precedes, the silk screening, which are worth so much money today. And it'd be very interesting to see what it does go for next week at Christie's.
Yeah, imagine if the acetate has been around. Imagine how much that would have been worth.
Well, that's it. The truth is, I don't know, and I've done my research. I don't know if anyone knows where that acetate, the original acetate, is. And I can only presume that after so much silk screening and rubbing paint over all of it, it probably deteriorated in little pieces. So because the original acetate probably doesn't exist, having the photo with Andy Warhol and the behind it probably makes it more relevant.
Yeah, that's actually a really nice photo. I mean, it is so impromptu and so candid. It's just captured at the right moment in time, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I think Kevin, we're enjoying this project. It's for Coinlectables, it's really an opportunity to support Neil in one of his objectives, which is to bring Kennedy's work to a greater audience. They're relatively high value items, obviously, and what we're excited about is also making the story and making it fun and engaging for lots of people. So it's through these initiatives an opportunity for us to build the community and support Neil's good work around bringing Kennedy to more people, and through Coinlectables and these types of initiatives really help people understand a little bit more about Kennedy, a little bit more about some of these works, and of course Warhol and some of the other artists. So this is a fun project to be working on, and obviously it's garnering a lot of interest, which is great.
So Toby, so while you're at it, can you tell us how, if our viewers or anyone's interested, how are they going to be able to get their hands on one of these magnificent photographs or magnificent artwork, I would have to say?
Yeah, it's found all three of these pieces, and this particular piece, this acetate from 1964, is found on our Metamall site at coinlectables.art, and you'll be able to see it in there. It's under what we call the crossover fusion DOTs, and there you will find on there the description of the piece. You'll see the photograph of full description, a description from Kennedy describing how the picture was taken, and of course it's got the price of the piece, which is in US dollars, in BUSD and USDT. So flexible ways for people to acquire the piece. There is only one, and there is only one of these pieces on the site. So we've got three pictures, three photographs from Kennedy, and this one today is very exciting. So pleased to be able to talk about it. But again, what we're about is fusing the physical with the digital, and this is an excellent example of where we can do that. We can reach quite a large community. We engage with a lot of people in different geographies. But at the end of the day, there's only one physical piece, and the Fusion DOT is tied to that one physical piece, which is sitting behind Neil there in London. So I hope people will have a good look at it.
Yeah. So just at this stage, I just want to say that Neil, these three pieces, right? This piece here with the Marilyn Monroe acetate, and then that's the one with the flowers, the Warhol flowers. And the other one where we couldn't really see in the corner, that's the one where Andy Warhol's holding the Birmingham Race Riot sandwich board. Now, these three will make up a series, right? These are the first three photographs that you're putting up on the Coinlectables website for sale. And there's a first project that you have worked with Coinlectables on. How do you feel about that?
Well, you asking that to me, Kevin?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yes. This is. This is very, very exciting for me to. Obviously, we've been busy selling the physical items and introducing the physical items to collectors, and obviously, I was very aware of the up and coming NFT market. But to find a partner like Coinlectables, which fuses the two, it just it was perfect for us. It keeps the ultimate integrity of the image. I mean, we've already partnering with the Andy Warhol Museum, and any partner we wanted to work with had to have the utmost integrity. So to work with, Coin Collectibles, who has got that credibility and are using the fusion to even make the authenticity of the image even more important, was such a perfect fit. I can't think of any better way to sell an image, keep its authenticity, and to help increase its value by having integrity on both sides of the fusion.
Great, thanks, Neil. What about you, Toby? What can you tell us about this project working with Neil and KIWI Arts Group?
No, I think this is exactly the kind of project that we're excited to be involved in, because when you look at the NFT market, there are many types of NFTs out there, and as you know, we've been very heavily focused on the substance of the underlying of the NFT, and have moved towards calling that the digital ownership token, the DOT. With all of the legal information and all the other areas of enjoyment that come on the DOT. And then we've been very focused on responsible innovation and building communities. And we view this not just as a transaction, but as a bit of a journey and a means where we can use the technology to be able to support the story of our partner. And this is a very important one where Neil and his colleagues hadn't come across those negatives in the right way and decided to put the kind of effort that they have done over the years into this. Maybe this would have been lost, and this is important. So to be able to support here, and who knows going forward, but we certainly hope with further opportunity to be able to support the Kennedy initiatives. It makes a lot of sense. The sophistication around the film, sophistication around the book, the different mediums, and to be able to use the digital space as a way to bring these other relationships that Kennedy was able to develop from that very exciting era. I mean, the 1960s is such a special time, and when these pictures were taken was really important. And of course, that's creating massive interest in the market at one level. And I think, as Neil mentioned, there were only 60 of these done. And, I don't know how many of these are floating around. It's a very, very small number. And to have them signed by Kennedy, now deceased, and immutably on the blockchain with all that information, all that transparency, is exactly what we're trying to do with very high quality partners. So we appreciate Neil's support as a partner and his group, and look forward to this being very successful. I think whoever gets this piece will be is great. Really super.
We really enjoy having you on our show, Neil. I enjoy your story. You're a good storyteller, and I'm sure there's more stories coming up.
Thank you.
I believe the last session you told the story of the Andy Warhol with the flowers, and how William John Kennedy captured him with the flowers, and today you are telling the story of Warhol with the Marilyn Acetate. And I believe there's another AMA coming up where you'll be telling the story of the third piece about how Warhol came about to be holding that sandwich board. Now, I won't give too much away. And I can tell you now that each of these photographs are available for minting into POAP on the app, either in app stores on Apple or Google Play. And if you go in there, you're able to claim your POAP of this magnificent piece. I just want to make sure that yep. So it's this piece here with the Warhol holding up the Marilyn, and you can claim it straight. Right, you can start claiming it now. But in order to claim that, you will need the secret password, and the secret password is imperfection is beauty. Imperfections is beauty. So there's the password right on the screen. Use that password, go into the app and claim your POAP. Okay, so hopefully those who participated in the last AMA, they might already have the Warhol flower. This week you can get that, and then at the next AMA you can get the POAP of the third photo to complete a set. On that note, I'd like to thank Neil and Toby to be on the show. Thank you very much for taking time to be on our show to tell the stories and to participate in the discussion on Andy Warhol with the acetate and William John Kennedy, our legendary photographer, and also on the upcoming Christie's auction. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate having you on board. And then those who haven't posted their wallet address, I would say do it now to claim your tokens from our partner Coligo. And go get your POAP. That's all I can say. But thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.